Beware the Dog is the 1978 record by Yellow Dog, and it should be taken literally. It is pretty bad. And yet, it had a top 10 hit in Australia and the UK. So, how did these really good English session guys wind up on such a stinker? This guy, Kenny. Now, Kenny is what you think of when you think of the classic era of songwriters. Born Shalom Giskin in 1941, he moves to the US as a baby. He's raised on New York's Lower East Side and in Brooklyn. He goes to public schools and then he goes to CUNY. This is all classic New York stuff. But then he decides that he wants to be in the music business. So he changes his name and he lands a job at the Brill Building writing songs for Bobby Darin. But Kenny Young wasn't just going to be part of that classic era, he was going to mold it. Because in 1964, he and Artie Resnick write Under the Boardwalk. Yeah, that Under the Boardwalk. That's been covered by everyone from the Rolling Stones to Bette Midler to the Tom Tom Club. And that means by age 23, Kenny has made an indelible mark in rock history. Now, fast forward about a decade plus, and Kenny has been writing radio playable songs for Clodagh Rogers and his band Fox. Also in that band is a guitarist and fellow songwriter, Herbie Armstrong, who prior to Fox worked on and off with Van Morrison for years. When lead singer Nusha Fox leaves the band, Kenny and Armstrong take their songs and form Yellow Dog. The only other member of the band, but with no songwriting credits, is session guitarist Phil Palmer. Now, Phil is well respected and has been on over 500 records and has played on over 5,000 songs. But his other superpower is that he gets to call Ray and Dave Davies uncle. Now, before we get into Beware of the Dog, I quickly want to mention the use of covers on records. Covers were used in the music industry to showcase an artist's range. Covers were used so songs could cross over. Hound Dog and Tutti Frutti are perfect examples of that. Covers, good covers, could continue the popularity of already popular songs. The Supremes' 1966 hit, You Keep Me Hanging On, was covered by Tom Jones in his 1967 and 1968 records. Jimi Hendrix, Nancy Sinatra, the Ramones, Cheap Trick, Aerosmith, they all did covers. There is no shame. Now, there's also evergreens. These are songs that are recognizable over many years, decades. The Beatles did a version of Ain't She Sweet in 1964. Eddie Cantor helped to make that song popular in 1927. Smokey Robinson. Smokey has had a bazillion evergreens. And if you want to bring it back to the yellow topic at hand, Under the Boardwalk is a perfect example of an evergreen. So then, please, in the name of all things Iggy, somebody please explain to me why the first song on the first side of Beware the Dog is not just a cover, but a cover of the movie version, the cleaned up version of West Side Story's G. Officer Krupke, complete with exaggerated accent. This is not Maria or Tonight or America, all still popular. No, this was the comedically depressing pressure ballad from a musical where two of the main characters die and Natalie Wood is left to process her trauma. That is the choice that producer Kenny Young made. The second song, Love in the Balcony, is about a guy going on a date to the theater where Lincoln was assassinated. And at the end of the song, somebody else dies. I mean, I think it's somebody else. It could be a recap. But then a couple more songs in, they're singing about an alien abduction. This is just side one. Side two is the hit, Just One More Night. This is a song about a guy hounding someone to stay at their place just one more night. If you listen to the words, the begging isn't just annoying, but it's sad and it's creepy. This song went to number 8 in the UK and number 6 in Australia. Australia also named the whole album, Beware the Dog, number 49 in its top 100 albums of 1978. I didn't mention the other two musicians supporting Yellow Dog. Mick Fleet is on bass and Peter Van Hook is on drums. Both are session guys with ties to Van Morrison. But many years earlier, Van Hook was in a band called the Rick Parnell Independents. You may know Rick better as Rick Shripton, drummer for the other English American band, Spinal Tap. You should be able to find this record in the cheaps. Discogs definitely has it. I have the complete record up on my website, bandsofthelost.com, along with some other strangeness. If you'd like to hear about other records you may or may not have owned back in the day, feel free to subscribe to the Bands of the Lost YouTube channel or check us out at bandsofthelost.com. Happy digging.